Okay. So the first thing is you have to create in transformation is done in two steps. One is creating the transformation and then applying the transformation. Okay. So we'll do the first step here, which is like creating the transformation. So for creating that, you do go new and do like xquery transformation. Okay, let's give it a name like cust service service transformation dot xq. Okay, so here is where we have to select the source, right? So the source will be the initial response that we received from the service caller. So if you go back, so where will that be? Um, this is the shop service. Okay, here is the list of service, right? When we call the get, what we got the response is the get response, right? So this will be our initial source. Okay, this will be our initial source. Okay, next. Now our target is for the shop service we need to create that request message, right? So again going in here with those, so we need to create this message, right? Create request. So this one, so you select that. And there is an associated perspective when you do xquery, which is the xquery transformation perspective. So every time you do that, every time you are doing that, the perspective changes automatically. So like I said, this is when we as part of this is the ID, customer ID that we want to use and map it to this guy. Okay, map it to this guy. So this is the source view. Well, I mean, if you see in a simple way, if you think of this as a Java program, okay, in Java program, like I was saying, right, since we have to do some processing, you create a method, and your input, the all the input arguments or parameters for that method are the source elements, right? So our source was the response we got from the service caller. So what OSB always creates any type of transformation always in this format. What it will do for the processing that you have to do, it will create a function. Let's say in Java class, if you have a function, a method, you just can't run the Java class, right? What you would need, you need a main method in which you are creating that object and then calling that function, right? So it's a similar concept. So here, see, it created that function, and then so having that function doesn't do anything, right? You have to explicitly call that function, and this is the input to that function, right? So a variable was declared, and you are called that function is being called, with that variable, the service caller which we did, this variable will have that data. Okay, and this function, this variable is being passed. Okay, and this in this function, so this is the code that is generated. Okay, for now, don't worry too much about this. Okay, if we spend little more time on xquery, this will make more sense. But at a high level, if you have to understand it, that is what it is. Any OSB transformation that is created, it is always in this format. These are the namespace. Pragma is these are let's say these are some of the definitions that will be used by the GUI tool. In kind of creating this, so you don't have to worry too much about that. Uh, Now here, see, first what it has is namespace declarations, and then here it will create a function which will do this action, which will assign the value of this and create something like this, right? So it will create a function like that. And then all the here we are only giving one input to the function. There can be multiple inputs as well. If you have multiple inputs, then it will create a variable for each such input. Okay, and then that's what the word external means. What does the word external means? That, see, xquery is like a standalone program. Now this function and this file is created, right? And now as part of the message flow, if this file has to be called, then that the response that we got from service caller, that value has to be bound to this variable, right? Value has to be bound to this variable. And then when this is called, then that will make sense, right? So any variable that needs to be bound by some external value, then you need to declare that as external, right? And then you will see a function, a call to that function that was created, passing the variables that are declared. Okay, this is the same format in which it will create all the transformations. If you can just understand the contents in that perspective, that's for it's good enough for now. Okay, or if you're just using the design, then it's as simple as that. Okay, all right. Hey guys, if I need to repeat anything or if it's confusing, please stop me. Okay. Okay. So
One question.
Yeah.
Instead of doing this X query, right? Looks like very simple. Can we do like XPath, directing the values from the source and map it to target, right? We can do that.
Yeah, I mean, see, that can be done, but I want to slowly introduce xquery too.
Okay, means like, what is the main use where? What are the scenarios where we can use the xquery? Like which scenarios?
I mean, let's say the input message has a list of a list of books or list of people. Okay, and now you need to sort them in a certain order. Okay, you need to arrange those books in a certain order. Okay, then for sorting, you cannot use expand. For all the things that you can't use expand, you will use xquery.
Can we do that thing in XSLT transformation? We can do that.
I mean, it allows it. I mean, like you can do some xquery in even in SOA too, right? There are functions that will.
You can do XSLT xquery in XSL also, right? You can do that in the source view. You can do that.
Yeah. So, but the idea is, xquery. OSB has been like built accordingly, like with xquery. Okay, there is a provision to run XSLT too. So, but xquery is also a lot powerful and there are many use cases where XSLT is primarily used. I'm sorry, xquery is primarily used over XSLT in those cases. Okay.
Okay, like this, right? The GUI, right, looks very straightforward. There are functions which we can use to transform the message. Like suppose we need to concatenate the street address, right? We need to concatenate the address, street, city, zip code, country, right? We need to send everything in one field.
Yeah, Kamal, at least let's go through like few basic examples, then we can get more samples or a little more complicated things.
Okay, alright.
Because let's say like Bharat and Ashwini, they have not done this much, right? So I didn't want to directly jump into complicated examples. Okay, so okay, so this is so we have done what we have done so far. So we have created a